Welcome. This is the 11th episode in my series, It's So Hot That. This is meant to be the antidote to those silly videos you see on YouTube where they cherry pick some cold weather events from around the world in order to prove that the world is cooling when in fact it's warming. This is also about the grand solar minimum that people keep on predicting that is about to lead us into an ice age. That is equal nonsense too. So these are the events that they don't want you to see. These are warm weather events from around the world. And it's been a very busy week, so this is only a small selection of the events that are available. I'm sure you've heard that a town in California was erased by the Dixie Fire. It is the town of Greenville. Over 800 residents had to evacuate. Fortunately, there were no deaths. We've lost over 1,000 structures in this fire. It's now the second largest fire in state history and is covering over 500,000 acres, or that's 800 square miles, or 2,000 square kilometers. Two tropical storms have hit Asia this week. The slow-moving storm called Lupit brought heavy rains to southeast China, up to 300 millimeters of rain, with damaging winds and mudslides. The Miriani storm brought heavy rain to Japan and at one point threatened the closing ceremony of the Olympics. We have a mega drought that's hitting South America, particularly the Andes. On the left you can see what the level of snowfall was on July of 2020, comparing with it the same time this year. Much less snow over those mountains. In fact, it's a historical low for snowfall in this area, and many ski resorts have been forced to close. Greece is suffering from wildfires too, as you've probably heard. The fires have reached the outskirts of Athens. Thousands have had to be evacuated, and over 600 people from the island of Evia have had to be evacuated. One person has been killed so far. The drought in the west continues. This is an image of Lake Powell, America's second largest reservoir, and has fallen to historic lows. The lake is 50 feet lower than at the same time last year. They've had to cancel houseboat rentals because they are no longer allowed. And other areas in the west are also suffering. The Great Salt Lake and Lake Oroville also are at or near record low levels. We are having thunderstorms in southern Scotland. Roads are closed due to flooding, especially in Glasgow, and train services have been affected. Let's take a look at the overall drought situation in the US. The latest drought maps show that the exceptional drought all along the west coast and along the northern tier states. Moderate drought in Hawaii and Alaska also. The Atlantic hurricane season is heating up. Earlier this week we had 3 potential invest areas. The X on the left became Tropical Storm Fred, which is now heading for Florida. And the basic problem is that conditions across the Atlantic are becoming more favorable, and in the Gulf the temperatures are high. So if a tropical storm makes it to there, we're likely to get a major hurricane forming. Europe has what it calls its Copernicus project, which monitors global climate. It's reported about what's happening in the global climate for the month of July. And according to them, July was the 3rd warmest July on record. But it only missed the record by 0.07 degrees centigrade. That was set in 2019, just 2 years ago. Italy has just registered Europe's highest ever temperature at 48.8 degrees centigrade. That's just under 120 degrees Fahrenheit. This was done near Syracuse in Sicily on last Wednesday. Another area that we don't normally associate with wildfires is North Africa. At the moment we have fires in Tunisia as temperatures reached over 49 degrees centigrade. That's over 120 degrees Fahrenheit. And 60 people died in wildfires in Algeria at about the same time. This is a plot of the sunspot number over the last 13 years. Yellow are the daily numbers, blue are the monthly average numbers, and red, which is the curve you pay attention to, is the smooth numbers. They smooth this over a 13-month period. And as you can see, the new cycle, which started in December of 2019, is off to a healthy start. It's between the minimum model for sunspot cycles and the maximum model for sunspot cycles. So it's getting off to a very good start indeed. And so there is no sign of a grand solar minimum. You'd expect the sunspot number to be flatlining or going up a lot more slowly than it is. So this solar cycle 25 is looking perfectly normal. In fact, every indication so far is that it will be a more active cycle than solar cycle 24 from the point of view that we've had more sunspot regions and more flares by this time in the cycle than we did in solar cycle 24. In this last week, we've had 683 new record highs compared with just 220 new record lows. That's an overall ratio of about 3 to 1. The conclusion then is the Earth is still warming. I'd like to thank you all so much for sending me in more of these It's So Hot jokes. I've got quite a supply of them now, but keep them coming. And until next time, stay safe and goodbye.